Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Sarkar, for setting the tone. I am confining myself only to cybercrime because that is my area. And he has already spoken so many things about cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is again a different subject. So whatever he has just spoken, I'll just continuing from there, and I'll substantiate his hypothesis with solid data. And I'll start with my data. So if you see this trend in cybercrime, in fact, here's the last slide was cybercrime.gov.in and 1930. And I'm actually producing the data from the same portal, which is actually called NCRP, National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. And here we had in 2022, we had total 34,000 plus cases, which has already gone to 60,000 up to 31st August. We still have 4 more months to go. And I'm sure this will roughly around 85,000 it will remain. And you see that column where fraud amount is mentioned. This is, right now it is 600 plus crores in West Bengal alone. Now just think about the enormity of the problem. If you extrapolate this data for the whole country and the kind of money people are losing, I'm sure here people are smart enough to outsmart Jamtada gang kind of people. I mean, they are almost semi-literate, or a few of them definitely very smart, very educated, but then majority of them are very average guy, and still they are able to cheat so many people. And my heart goes for all those people who lose huge amount of money. I mean, I couldn't even think that people can lose sometimes in crores in an investment scam. I'm not asking here, but I'm sure none of you have lost any money in this as of now. And please be aware that, I mean, we all know, but it's my duty to repeat it once again, everywhere, that we should not fall into the trap which looks too good to be true. I think there's a simple thumb rule in the life. We all of us, keep breaking, and we keep forgetting this, but then this is so true since the ages. And our effort is basically to block the money. In fact, all of you are, like 1930, this NCRP. Why NCRP is important? Because the state police is actually divided into states, different states. We are all independent. So this new, perhaps the Jamtada people, perhaps this brought this hypothesis, which actually mastered by this Mewat people or Bharatpur gang he was referring to. They started operating in multiple states, and it can't be just a coincidence. It has to be a planned operation. They actually pick a SIM from one state. They stay in another state. They target a victim in some other state. So they involve 3-4 states, and if the mule accounts also maybe from the 4th state. So they involve 3 to 4 state, which becomes a huge problem for us, because we are divided into different states. Our jurisdiction is within the states. The whole protocol is to work within the state. So as a solution, this Government of India came up with this solution, this 1930 National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. Now the first thing, biggest advantage is we started collecting all the data, all the complaint in one portal. The advantage is that if one mobile number used to call 100 or 1,000 calls all over the country, it will show in the system itself. Now the one mobile number is used for, or maybe one bank account used for so many crimes. So now it's a huge advantage. But here the problem is more. In fact, what he's explaining, in fact, criminals are becoming smarter and smarter, which I'll explain you in the coming slides. So our first goal right now is to block the money in banking system. But unfortunately, in 90% or rather 95% of the cases, people come to or call 1930 after substantial gap. By the time the money is withdrawn from the banking system. And you will be surprised to know that the 90% of the money goes through ATMs. And ATMs will again be a fraudster money, somebody losing money in West Bengal. It's a very, very rare chance, or he must be a novice that money will also be drawn from the West Bengal ATM itself. In most of the cases, they will identify some other place, they will engage some other set of people, they will take out money from there. And it goes on for a month or two, depending on the kind of engagement he has with the target. And most of the time, they come to us when money is already withdrawn. But what we are trying to do is right now is we have a very close working relationship with the bank. In fact, we work into 24/7. Banks people are also working into 24/7. And our job is to liaise with bank and try to block the money in the banking system as much as possible. And if you see the last column, we are trying to, earlier we were 3.3%. Right now, we have just started. In fact, the cybercrime wing we started in Feb this year. So we have reached to 13.3%. Our aim is to cross 20%. Because the idea is to block the money first and then go for rest of the things. Once money is blocked, there is a huge disincentive for the criminals to further, or because they are also making effort, they are also investing resources in this. So this is a kind of minimizing or the gain. So the second slide is about this FinTech fraud. So we in NCRP portal we get two kinds of fraud. One is finance related fraud, or other cybercrime, maybe identity theft and all those kinds of things, something like that. Here we are only talking about FinTech. So within this, the distribution of the earlier slide, you just see the distribution of the different kind of crimes. So internet banking fraud, credit card, debit card fraud, UPI fraud, DMAT related fraud, fraud or phishing call, AEPS, and e-wallet and email takeover. I don't know. I'm completely clueless about the modus operandi. I don't know how many of them are actually using generative AI to commit all these frauds and using high-tech technology. And some are really high-tech, which, in some of the investigations which we have reached, we will just talk about this in brief. And you will be astonished that people can, even that kind of, also people can commit crime like this. This is a slide for this month-wise report. We have, as I was telling you, we came into being in February this year, and we took some time to set up our system. We started managing 1930 West Bengal. It was there earlier in CID, and we had just one line earlier. So there was a lot of people were actually missing the calls. Now we have 10 line helpline, which we are working 24/7. And our main goal is to record 100% of the complaints. Why? Because even if we are not able to, let's say, not able to recover money, we will get two very important data. One is mobile number, and second is bank account number. And since the database is common, immediately the bank will tell that this account number has been used in so many cases. So if you will be, in fact, in all the frauds, we go to 10, 11 layers of transaction. And within this 10, 11 layers, maybe 50, 60 odd, if the size is, let's say, 20 lakhs plus, mostly there are more than 50 to 60 accounts are involved. In 10 to 12 layers, now thinks the enormity of the problem. So, and this, the bank people flag it that this account has been used so many times. Depending on that, we again approach to the bank and we ask them to freeze these accounts. In this, some people, I think we also getting some 1 or 2% where people say that my account has been frozen by mistake. Now, because we are in hurry to block the money in the banking system, we try to freeze the account also so that money is not withdrawn or transferred to some other account. But in this process, some people are suffering, which we are trying to expedite the system, we write to bank again that defreeze this account. Of course, after due diligence and investigation, we tell them that you unfreeze or the debit freeze. But that is very, very limited. In this month itself, we have been crossing in 1 month, June, we have crossed 20%. That is, in fact, it was better than national average in that particular month. Now we presume that by end of December, we should be, overall average must be around 13 to 14% or 15 plus. And our aim is to make it to 20% in 1 year time. And of course, I mean, we are getting this call, the kind of calls we are getting here. In just last 10 days of May, we got these many calls. And now we are getting almost 62,000 calls every month. Now, another problem is a lot of people make calls unrelated to cybercrime. So that actually wastes our time and resources. And of course, I mean, create problem for the other victims who are actually trying to reach, because it clogs our helpline number. So that is, a lot of people call minor, I mean, some people ask for recharge and all those things. Maybe I think some may be just creating nuisance also. In fact, in one case, a cyber criminal called and threatened us. And they come to know that we are operating from here. I mean, and now they are feeling the pinch, and they're trying to, show their anger to us. Recent trends, investment fraud. Unfortunately, the most biggest platform for meeting this criminal and the victim is a Facebook kind of platform. Most of the people actually give their advertisement on Facebook that we'll teach you investment and something like that. And since stock market is booming, people are thinking that, I mean, it's also giving the indication the kind of people, money people are, like oversubscription of SMEs these days, where I think some people saying that it's a kind of hoax also. So something similar to happening here also. People are very, very enthusiastic about this investment in stock, and they are without even, and unfortunately, their regular investor also got duped. In my own society, 60 plus elderly gentleman, he invested almost 67 to 70 lakhs within 15 or 20 days. And in most of the cases, these investors take them to a fake app where they show that your money is increasing many-fold. And they have a multiple ways of extorting money in the name of sometimes even SEBI tax. People, I mean, even the people who actually dealing in investment or investing in stock, they believe that SEBI can also charge some tax. SEBI is not a regulatory body; they can't collect tax. But still, people, I mean, a lot of people have actually lost money in that. Fortunately, in that case, we could able to recover 35 lakhs in that particular case, because he came to us by the time money was not withdrawn. In one case, we in fact recovered whole 51 lakhs. So these are the success stories. It all depends on how soon the victim comes to us. So we are completely dependent on victims' alert, because who is doing what, there is no way to know who is doing what in their personal spaces. Digital arrest. I mean, I am a cop. I've spent 25 years. I could not have thought that anybody can be so innovative, and it will work. How many of you have heard about digital arrest, or maybe all of you? So it's a good set of people, but unfortunately, there's so many people, and people are losing money to the extent of in sometimes crores. If you go to a lawyer, he will charge you much lesser to get you out from a crime itself. Lawyer fee is much less, even if you have committed crime. And here is the situation where you have not committed crime. Very interestingly, recently, here only it happened. One gentleman got a call, and he was asked to check in a hotel in Sector 5. And he actually checked in that hotel. He was so scared and believed this caller that he actually checked in a hotel. Fortunately, in that case, his colleagues, one of the colleagues understood it, that perhaps it's the case of digital arrest. And when he called me, in fact, I was not thinking that, I thought it's kind of hoax kind of thing. But then I said, casually said, just go to the Thana and make a missing GD entry. And I just followed it up, that input. And fortunately, that guy is recovered. Fortunately, he didn't lose any money, because the criminals were just, it was preparing the target. First, they create a fear in the mind of the people. They put, almost they hypnotize. I have heard an interview of an elderly lady from Delhi. She said for almost 1.5 days, she was going to bank multiple times to withdraw money and transfer to these scamsters. Even the bank people alerted us, ma'am, why you are withdrawing this money? Is something wrong with you? She didn't tell anything. And she came back to the home, and then again she sat in front of the camera. She volunteered for sitting in front of the camera, because the criminals asked her to, and she was an educated lady, I think perhaps a retired professor or something like that. So even educated people can also become victim of it. Chinese online betting scam, I think after this I'll talk to Professor Sarkar. This is the latest fag, and a lot of people are involved in this. Recently we got a case in Barakpur where two gentlemen met. He called his friend, he took his mobile phone, installed some app, and within 9:30 to 6:30, about 8 or 9 hours, they did a transaction of 1 crore. And after that, they uninstalled the app and vanished. Now, perhaps there was some dispute among these two people. I mean, maybe distribution of booty. So one of them complained that I have been cheated, and I have been my mobile phone is misused. We investigated, and we came to learn that about this modus operandi. And how does it work? In this, they such kind of apps are mostly operated from outside, and incidentally, all names are Chinese. So it may be a coincidence, or it may be a kind of the Chinese people themselves are doing it, or maybe some other people are doing it in the name of some Chinese, or keeping some Chinese name to dupe or the law enforcement of our country. In this case, and how do they, and there are a lot of people are involved in this, because somebody has to bring the mule account, somebody has to bring the target, and all they work for 2 to 3% of interest. So if there's a transaction of 1 crore, he'll get 2 to 3 lakhs, and which this money will be distributed among all the people in this. And this money, how they are paying back? They are paying back in crypto. They pay it in USDT, which is actually encashed in some bank, and that money is distributed. So there is a complete opaqueness from where the money is coming, and most of the time, if the Binance is fine, because Binance is sharing the data, but most of the crypto exchanges will not share the data, because they don't have the KYC also of these people. OTP fraud, I think he was talking about that only. In fact, .apk file hosted outside the country. In fact, lots of apps are actually being as a malware is transported to the XYZ victim's mobile phone, and actually taking remote. So what is happening? They are actually operating any account from outside. So they get OTP. OTP goes in that. In fact, they read all the SMS or bulk SMS coming to that mobile phone. In fact, this modus operandi is actually used or detected recently in an Odisha case, where they have actually found the APK, which is actually hosted outside the country. And what does it do? It reads the OTPs of the mobile phone, and so it's the kind of somebody is operating the internet banking or transactions sitting outside the country. Here. So, I mean, we have also, we have just picked up a gang from MP. They also talking about similar thing. In fact, we were following up investment fraud, but what we got is something similar to this. These criminals are actually involved in this Chinese online betting scam, and combination of this .apk file they also saying that we don't know anything, we just bring customers, whatever comes to us OTP, and we just put in this app, and and that is all my job. And after the transaction, I get my commission. So that is how it is. So in a nutshell, the whole gang is being operated from outside. Cyber slavery in Cambodia and Vietnam and Laos, all of you must have read about this. Actually, a lot of people from the agents are actually taking people from India to these countries in the name of giving them jobs. And they rather they force into this kind of cyber crime because they are outside their country without any help and support. In one case, some of them actually ran out of the confinement and reported to a local police. And in this case also, most of the Chinese people are involved. The gang leaders are Chinese people. I don't know what is this coincidence, why every time Chinese people are turning out to be the main perpetrators. And in fact, we have talked to a few people who have come back from Cambodia, and we are working on a case where they have been, they went through agents. In fact, they are calling people who knowing different languages. So some Bengali, some Telugu, and all Tamil, all those, so that they can target people in their own language. So this is how well planned these criminals are. AEPS fraud is he was just talking about AEPS fraud. We have actually detected and we have convicted also a case in Raiganj recently. In this case, exactly this is how has happened. They have actually lifted the fingerprint from a deed of conveyance downloaded from registry office website. In fact, we raised the alarm. Now this is the fingerprints are getting masked. It is if you download the document, you will not get your fingerprint visible. And in this case, they have actually what they did. They bought some equipments. They actually took a Xerox on something similar to butter paper, and from that they developed some kind of silica gel. They made some kind of stencil of fingerprint, which they used, and it worked. It means that their quality of everything was so high, they can recreate a fingerprint, and they in fact and fortunately they have got convicted. AEPS fraud. What happens in these cases? People don't follow up because people in these cases bank compensates them, because banks say that in such cases you are not at fault. So bank's ombudsman position is that if banking fraud has happened without your carelessness, we will compensate you. But if something you have shared OTP knowingly or unknowingly or by mistake, then we will not compensate you. This is what the stand is. In AEPS, everybody got the money, so nobody is actually following their cases. But in this case, we have followed, and fortunately we could convict also. This is what we have the action taken by state governments. We have already described about the new cybercrime wing. We are having this 1930 helpline, and we are making 100% complaint recording. Banking institutional, which I was talking about, because we have to follow with the bank even on the holidays. In fact, there is a trend that there is more crime on Friday afternoon, because they know that bank people will be less active during Saturday and bank holidays. So and banks have also been asked to have their nodal officers available 24/7. But then there are so many banks, there are so many payment gateways, there are so many wallets and so many different kind of institutions. Very difficult to keep contact or bring everybody on one table all the time. In some cases, in fact, when we come across, we find that this is not linked with our 1930. We tell our counterpart in Delhi that you add also this payment gateway or this payment system also in the platform, so that from the next time we can get it immediately. We are now struggling with IPD analysis and crypto transaction analysis. In fact, youngsters are much better than us, and we were the expert of CDRs now, but IPDR is a different ball game. Anybody has have worked with CDR and IPDR, they will understand the difference. IPDR is much more complicated than actually CDR analysis, and that is where we are trying to train our people. And same thing for crypto transactions also, because crypto transactions also, we don't even understand how does a crypto account look like. It's a hexadecimal or number or whatever. It's a kind of hashtag or kind of thing, hash value or something like that. And very difficult to, unless you know this, it's a complete new subject for all of us. Digital Forensic Lab we have set up in the state, in Sector 5, because our exhibits were actually not getting examined by the central labs because they are already overburdened. CFSL have been running their labs. Now in fact we have also to increase its capacity because there are so many cases we are getting related to digital forensics for our lab. This is our 1930 setup in Newtown. Yeah, this is all I want to talk about. Thank you very much for listening me patiently.